Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your boy NerdMode, and I'll be doing my next installment of my Let's Talk About Me series. This is a video series where I had the opportunity and the privilege to tell you guys about key moments within my life, and overall I hope you guys will share your story as well. But I guess to jump right into it, guys, we're going to be talking about physical encounters and or fights, scrims, jumps, I guess if you've been on either side of that. And overall, you guys can add to the list. It may be a 1 versus 1, or maybe it was a 1 versus 1 that was going to happen, but somebody jumped in there and terminated, I guess, the existing argument. So overall, I would love to hear you guys' story, and hopefully you guys will enjoy mine. But you guys will realize I don't have a huge archive. My archive is very small compared to most people, and it's because, or maybe it's large, I don't know, depends on how much of a fighter you are, what kind of blood you got going inside of you. Does your blood boil when you get angry? I don't know. But overall, when it comes down to it, I don't have a huge archive, and I definitely have not had anywhere close to a fight that is really considered a fight. I mean, in my head, I would like to say I won, but of course the opponent didn't even fight back, so it's hard to say, I guess, in that standpoint. But you guys will understand. We'll talk about that one. You guys will be able to judge it as you guys are configuring it. So overall, I guess to jump right into it, guys, my philosophy on fighting isn't huge. I could really care less, and in most cases, if you fight somebody, there's probably a reason you fought them. They probably were talking shit, and I guess that's a good enough reason to put them on their ass. Because if you don't do anything about it and you just walk away like what the school says, all those groups and idiots, in my opinion, they just kind of like, oh, don't hit him, don't just ignore him and they'll go away. Kind of like what a bully does, but we'll talk about that in another episode. That usually doesn't work. And you guys will love my story on it because, yeah, you guys will get to see my long list of shit that I've had to go through. But everybody goes through shit, so my story is no different than anyone else. But we'll talk about that in another episode. But anyway, most cases, I guess if they're doing something that you don't like and, it hasn't been resolved by you doing the first step by going to tell somebody, knock them on their ass. Let them know. Make sure you punch them right in the nose, because that's usually a pretty good spot. Kick him in the balls, I don't care. Play as dirty as you need to. Just put him on the ground and walk away in a gentle manner and take your disciplinary action. But at least they won't be talking a whole lot more shit about you. So I guess that's a benefit. So in most cases, I'm completely for fighting. I don't really care. But I'm also not a fighter myself. So maybe my philosophy will change with time. I doubt it. But you never know. So anyway, guys, my story. Where do I jump into my archives? Because they're very small, of course. But I can remember one instance that I think is the most standing in my mind. I mean, it wasn't even close to a fight, but it's one disagreement that I kind of had, and I still remember it very clearly. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's because one of the instances that just keeps popping into my head from time to time. You kind of think about things. You're like, man, how could have I went about that action in a different way? Maybe that be a pro or a con, or maybe you wanted to hit him in a different spot and really cause some severe tissue damage. I don't know. That's up to you. But in my case, I want to say we were in 3rd or 4th grade. And, of course, this is elementary school. For all of you guys that are overseas, I have no clue what you guys call this. But it's when you're like a really little kid. You're first getting introduced into school and you're barely into it. You're probably, I don't know, half, something like that. A little less than a halfway through, I guess. I hope my math is right on that one. I'm not even positive because there's so many grades nowadays. But overall, guys, I was in 4th grade or 3rd grade, somewhere in there, and so I'm like really young, I'm not built, I'm not like easy enough to knock this guy on his ass. So this guy's pretty big, and it's funny because he's actually like a jock now, like full on. I mean, I don't have a problem with guys that do sports, I really don't. I could care less. If you want to grab another guy's ass, if you want to roll around and do some missionary positions on him, that's fine. Do what you want to do, I really don't care. But this guy's a tool. He's been a tool since elementary school. But overall, I think that's how most, sports guys kind of are. I think they look in themselves in a king slot. And maybe I'm wrong. I can be wrong. Most of them are very popular. So, if you're not in a popular seat, you kind of agree with my statement. If you are in a popular seat, you're probably disagreeing heavily with my statement. And that's fine. Most cases you can agree and or disagree. But you guys got to realize I was not even close, and it's not because I didn't want to. It's just I didn't want to make anyone my friend, really. I was like, fuck all you people. I don't care what the fuck you want. But that's not a good philosophy to have. Don't do that. But anyway, guys, to jump right into it, 3rd, 4th grade, we actually were at recess. And I don't even remember how long recesses were. I want to say they're like 20 minutes long because they sucked. God, they were so freaking short. You never got to do anything. But as a little kid, they lasted for like ever, you thought. Like, oh my goodness, this is so much fun. Go out there and play some sports, run around, look at the girls, all that fun stuff that most kids do. And with that in mind, guys, we were playing and we were picking teams for, I want to say it's football, because we used to play a lot of soccer back in the day, and then football somehow just spiked out of nowhere and everybody started playing it, so that was interesting by itself. But we were picking teams, and you know, they would kind of rig it. You know, you would get in a line, and then they would go like left, right. You just kind of go through all the people. Well, all the jocks and friends and all the idiots, in my opinion, would, you know, they would stack themselves so they'd all be on the same team, or they'd at least get really close. Well, what would happen was I was like, fuck this. This guy cut in front of me because so he could be with his friend. So I pushed him and pushed him a few times. I was like, you know, cussing at him, I guess, in that sense. And overall, Mrs. R at the time, which was kind of the supervisor of recess, pulled me aside and I had to go in for detention, and that was fun. But it wasn't even a fight. Like, he didn't even fight back. He didn't do anything. It's just everybody was like cheating. It was like ridiculous. It pissed me off so bad, and I can still remember that. And it's funny, you would think that these people would like change their habits. No, they used to do this all the time in high school, but whatever, that's here nor there. I don't really care that much. It may sound like it, but that's just an instance that I can remember of the first time I've ever been so mad to the point where I wanted to push somebody or hit them. And you know, overall, I guess that's one. Of course, me and my brother fight a lot, and me and my brother are completely different people. Like, you know, I play a lot with technology and games. I really like to do this kind of stuff. And he is more of an outside person, so we don't exactly collide very well, and his statements can be ignorant at a lot of times, along with mine. I'm not going to try to act like the godchild in this one, because I'm definitely not. I'm far from. But I can definitely remember a few instances where we would get into engagements and encounters and stuff like that. It's usually like vocal. You say something first, and then it's like, oh, bitch, you want to go? Let's go. And so I would push him, he'd push me, and then long before long, well, it kind of breaks out into a fist fight. And that's probably the most fighting I've ever done, where I've actually hit somebody, like, you know, full force, wanting to hurt them. And that's usually how it goes. We usually still have these about every month. Most of the time, it doesn't exactly go into a physical manner because we just kind of back off. But, you know, vocally, we're like, fucking bitch. You know, just doing stuff like that. Saying words, commenting, doing all that, I guess, ignorant shit that we do. And most of the time, it's usually pretty good. But in our younger days, oh man, I used to just hate him. I remember I used to bash him into the ground, his head. I used to, like, punch him and stuff. But at the same expense, I would play it like a joke. And I know that doesn't sound like a joke like what I just said. But there were times where we'd have fights and, you know, I would just randomly do stuff. I would, like, grab his arm and just, like, hold it, you know, instead of doing anything else. Or do really anything, you know, anything funny I thought at the time. You know, I might give him, like, a wet willy or something in the middle of the fight, and I'd be laughing, and he would be trying as hard as he could to hit me, and I'm not even kidding. Like, he would want to bury my face into the ground. But I would be playing, like, jokes on him. I would just, like, you know, grab his arms and his feet or whatever and, like, put him in, like, a pig, I guess you could say. I don't know what you guys call that move because, again, I don't do wrestling or anything. But, you know, you kind of, like, grab his arms, put him behind his back, and then you take his legs and you kind of, like, combine them more or less. And you just kind of hold him there. And I would just do fun little things like that. And overall, that's about it. I mean, of course, he would get me a couple times. He would, like, punch me or whatever and backhand me. But it was fun. I mean, it was okay. I don't really hate him that much. But overall, you know, we're completely different people. And, of course, you fight with your relatives, your brothers, sisters, really anything. I can't really fight with my sister. She's, like, 6 years old. What am I going to do, push her over? Like, that's about as much fighting as she has in her. You know, she just doesn't do anything like that. And overall, you know, I guess I've been pretty lucky. I just try to outclass my opponent by using intelligence, or at least trying to word it in a sense to make them realize, like, how dumb the encounter is actually going to be by a final result. Because most of the time, people just don't think about that. And I guess that's where I stand. Again, guys, my archive isn't huge, but I would love to know what you guys have to say. Because I imagine some of you guys are fighters. I imagine some of you guys are like, I want to whale this guy into the ground. And I guess you guys can indulge me in your guys' conversation. So, I guess that's about it for that. But overall, guys, to give you guys a height/weight thing of, like, my appearance-wise and all that, I'm about 5'10" and I weigh 130 pounds. So I definitely don't have a whole lot of advantages to me, but I can slip out of reaches really easily, and I'm pretty able to move around and all that good stuff. So I guess that's a benefit with my high metabolism. I've been doing pretty good. So overall, guys, again, inform me about what your guys' physical encounters have been like, and I look forward to hearing it. If you're in bigger cities, let me know if you've been a jumpy or a jumped, or I guess you've been jumped. I guess you wouldn't say it that way. But overall, I look forward to what you guys have to say. So this has been NML, guys. I'll see you in the next installment. This is me signing out, and I'll see you guys then. Peace.